Patsy. So I've popped on today to do another VR. As I said when I did my last one, there was a couple more that I wanted to get done, and this is the one today, and this one is called #Major Favorites, which is a VR to Toadstool Tarot, and this is choosing your favorite majors out of your decks, which, you know, major from which deck is your favorite. So I've got so many decks, I was like, this is going to take me forever. So what I've done is I just pulled 8 of my favourite decks that I pull all the time. And then I just put them all into piles, and then I went through each one and chose one of the majors from each deck, which was my favourite out of those particular decks. So that's how I've done it. So the decks that I've used are the Goddess Tarot, the Tarot Grand Lux, the Ethereal Tarot, the Tarot Muha, Golden Wheel, and the Light Seers, Tarot of the Hidden Realms, and the Joie de Vivre. So they're the 8 decks that I pulled out because they're the ones that I use mainly. And then I've gone through them to choose my favourite majors out of the decks. So I don't think so. I'm not sure if I've pulled one from all the decks or whether there's decks there that I didn't pull. I'm not quite sure. But I went with whichever one I liked the best. So the first one is the Fool. And the Fool I chose from my Tarot Grand Lux by Kiro Machete. I love this Fool. I love this image at the bottom where he's skipping happily off into the middle of nowhere with his dog hot in his heels, the town left behind him, quite happy and jolly and moving forwards. And I just love that feel about this Fool. As soon as I opened this deck and saw the Fool, I fell in love with it. So that is probably my all-time favourite Fool. I do love this Fool. So the next one is the High Priestess, the Magician, sorry. And I went with this one from the Goddess Tarot, and I love this because you can see all the elements here, the swords, the cups, the pentacles, the wands, and the books, what they're all standing on or leaning against. And this tells, you know, tells me the magician, you've got everything, you've learned everything, you've done everything you needed to, and it's now in your hands to, you know, manifest what all these things you've learned into the now, into being. Do you know what I mean? You've done all your learning, you've got the teachings now, you've got everything you need right there in your hands, and now you've just got to manifest that. So I like that for the Magician. So that's from the Triple Goddess Tarot. So the next one is from the Light Seers, the High Priestess for the Light Seers. I just love this High Priestess, how she's got her eyes closed and the light coming in through her head, and that for the intuitive and the connection to spirit and whatever. I just love this card. So that is from the Light Seers. The next one is the Empress, which again is from my Tarot Grand Lux. I just love this. I love how she's, I don't know if you can see, she's part of the tree. She's holding the child, and she's part of the growth of this tree, connected to the Mother Earth and the northern nature and everything around her. So that is one of my favourites. So the next one is again the Emperor, and this one is from the Light Seer. And I just love this for the Emperor. He's, you know, the Emperor is very often shown as somebody very straight and upright and very powerful and what have you, but I just love this relaxed feeling about the Emperor. It doesn't lessen the message any, you know, or anything. It just shows another side to him. It doesn't mean that he's not powerful or anything like that. It's just the way that he's been depicted, and I do like that. So the next one is from my Tarot of the Hidden Realms, and it's the Hierophant. I just love this Hierophant. He just looks like such a kind teacher. He could be of any, you know, any kind of priest or anything like that, you know, pagan priest or whatever you like, this pagan teacher or whatever. But you can see this teacher in him, and you can see the kindness on his face, and that's what I liked about this this card from the Tarot, the Hidden Realms. So the next one is the Lovers. Well, the Lovers is never one of my favourite cards, and I really struggled with this one because the Lovers to me is never really been one. They're all depicted much the same. There's never much in it. It's just two couples in it, a couple, and all the decks that I've got much the same image. So I just went with the one from the Ethereal Tarot simply because I liked the colouring of it and the way, you know, the couple looked. And that was my main reason for choosing that, not for any other reason, because to me they're all much the same. So the next one is from the Lightseers, and it's the Chariot. And I love this. I love how there's movement. You can see, because a lot of Chariot cards, there's no movement, but the Chariot is all about forward movement and what I've been moving forward and going for it. So I love the fact that there's movement in this, and he's just sitting perched on the top there. And I just love that. So that is the Chariot. The next one is Strength, and it's from my Tarot of the Hidden Realms. This is my all-time favourite Strength card. The Strength is probably one of my favourite cards in most decks, but I just love this. I just love this image of it. And the Lightseers is next, and that's the Hermit. I love this one of the Hermit. I love how the light's emanating from them, sitting on top of that mountain. Can you see that? I just love that. This one is the Wheel of Fortune, and this comes from my Golden Wheel Tarot, and I love how this is depicted. You've got the wheel there, you've got the lady on this side full of finery and riches, and then you've got the lady on this side who has nothing, who's going through a hard time. You can tell by her face, and that's the Wheel of Fortune, depending on which side of the wheel you're on. So I love that depiction. The next one is Justice, and this is from my Tarot Grand Lux. Again, I find a lot of the Justice cards are very similar with the scales and what have you, but I just love this one. So that's the one I've gone for. And then the next one, the Hanged Man. I went for this one in the Ethereal Tarot, and the reason why I went for this one is I love how this is depicted with him holding there. He's got the rope here in his hand, so he's put himself there. He can let himself down anytime he wants. He can just release that and he'll fall down. But the fact is, he's holding it, so he wants to be there. So I love that depiction. So the next one is from the Lightseers, and it's the Death card. And I just love this Death and Rebirth card. I just love that. I love the, you know, the new beginning inside behind the veil. I love that. So again, we've got the Lightseers for the Temperance, and again, there's just something about this image and, you know, the energy coming from both, you know. So I did love this one as a different kind of depiction than just the water. So the next one is the Devil card, and I've gone from the one in my Joie de Vivre, and the reason I love this is I love how he's playing with that puppet. He's working that puppet's on his strings, he's controlling that. And I thought that was a really good depiction of the devil. Again, we've got the Joie de Vivre for the Tower card, and Tower cards are all much the same, I find. And I went with this one because the Tower to me is quite a disruptive card when you get it, and this kind of just takes the edge off that, seeing the you know, all fall into bits and what. I mean, it just kind of, it gives you that message, but it's a bit more gentler. But I also love the fact that there's butterflies, because I love butterflies, and butterflies to me is like a rebirth or a transformation, that kind of thing. So even though everything's crumbling around her, and even though everything's falling off around her, all these butterflies are telling her, you know, they're holding on to her here, look, that things will transform for the better. So that's why I like that depiction. So the next one is the Star, and it's from my Tarot of the Hidden Realms, and I just love this image of this little fae with the butterfly, and looking at the wonder in his face as he looks at that. This is my all-time favourite Star card. I just love this card. So the next one is from my Triple Goddess, and this is the Moon card, and I just love this Moon card. I just love the self-evaluation. You know, she's looking in that mirror, and and look at that shadow self and whatever, and I just love the image of that one. So the next one is again from the Lightseers, and it's the Sun card. I love this Sun card. You can feel the joy and the happiness what comes in with this card, and the bright colours and everything. So that is my favourite Sun card. And now we're going to go to Judgment card, and I've gone with the one from the Tower of the Hidden Realms. I love how she's offering you that acorn, that chance of starting over again, a new beginning for you, you know, after everything that is dropped away, and you know it's now being renewed and whatever, and you've got this offering this little acorn, and I absolutely love the image of that. And then finally the World, and again this isn't one of my favorite cards in the deck, the World card. I don't think I've ever really found one that I really like. They're all much the same, so I've gone with the one from the Lightseers, because that's probably my favorite out of all of them, and the circle is complete, so that is why I've gone with that one. So that is my favourite cards out of my favourite decks of the majors. And this is a VR to Toadstool Tarot. And I really enjoyed it, going through them all and choosing. It took me a little while, but I enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing anybody else's who do this, because I think it's really good. And I thought I was really good only choosing one on each, because I could have chose 2 or 3 for each one, but I didn't. I stuck to the one. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.